Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Midnight with Miss Audrey. Doing some math and having some fun and shenanigans. So hopefully you guys are having a great night. It's been a busy, crazy day for moi. I guess those interims are probably coming out. Maybe people had their second or third test. But all I know is everybody wants a tutor. So what we're going to be working on tonight is a little bit of ASVAB practice. Now, this ASVAB math practice, I can't even speak anymore. I can't even do it. So if you're trying to get your GED, ASVAB, Accuplacer, any of those exams from A to Z, okay, this will be the perfect platform for you for tonight. We're just basically going to be going over a few math problems. It doesn't even matter. Even my TEAS people, TEAS tests, HESI exams, yeah, all y'all. If you need some algebra help, this is the spot for you. All right, so come on in, sit on down, let's get our math on. So you might have to expand your screen a little bit. I'm going to try as best I can to try to fit the whole thing in, but I don't want to get too much. So we have Aria, okay, was hired to teach 3 identical math courses, which entails being present in the classroom 36 hours altogether. At $25 per class hour, how much did Aria earn for teaching one course? Was it A, $50? I wish somebody would. Is it B, $300? Is it C, $600? Or D, $1,400? Okay, hello, Frank. Hello, Test Squared. How are you? Hello, Felicia. Welcome on in. Okay, Mia, welcome in. You got my 300. Can't see. I know you're going to have to expand it on your screen because this is as big or as small as I can put it. Okay, so Felicia, we got with B. So Frank B, my B, Felicia B, Jamaica B. All right. And John, okay. All right. Yep, this is as far as I can go. Yep, can you zoom out a little? Yep, that's as far as I can go. That's already zoomed in. Okay. Yeah, I saw you, Tess. This is as far as it can go. I'm not trying to be a pain in the butt. Like, seriously, this is as far as it can go. Okay, so braids in the boots. Well, that's interesting. And saying B as well. All right, so taking a look, how can it be? Okay, Tess, Square, are you listening to me? I cannot zoom out anymore. This is as far as it can go. All right. So I would love to help, but I can't do it. This is it. This is as far as it goes. Okay. Because I moved all the way in. This is it. Okay. So when we're taking a look, excuse me. So when we're taking a look, so you have your 36 hours all together. There's 3 identical math courses. Okay, since there's 3 identical math courses, we're going to take those hours, that 36 hours, we're going to divide by 3. So once we do that division of 3, 36 divided by 3, that gives me 12. And that's telling me, okay, each of those classes, we're doing 12 hours. If we're getting paid $25 per class hour, we're taking that 12 and we're multiplying it by the 25. So 25 times 12, that will give us our 300. Okay, that will give us exactly our 300. All right, so for the next one, okay, Karen is 9 years older than her sister Michelle, and Michelle is 4 years younger than her brother David. If the sum of their ages is 82, how old is Michelle? Is she A, 21, B, 25, C, 29, or D, 23? Yep, you can do the same thing, Jamaica, sorry. Okay. So Dappa Dawn saying 21, Felicia saying 23. Tomorrow, not tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I'm doing like specialties. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. Okay, so far I got a 21 and a 23. That's A or D. Okay, Melody saying 23. Josh saying 29, which is C. Okay. Now, if you're not sure, and I know this is one of those problems that you really got to stop and think. You're like, okay, you got Karen, who's 9 years older than her sister Michelle. Michelle is 4 years younger than her brother David. If the sum of their ages is 82, how old is Michelle? And if you're not sure, remember, you can use a question mark. Okay, I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay, Bish is saying 23. Braids is saying D. Kevin's saying C. Okay, Gonzalez, thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Nene is saying D. Okay. Oh, I don't know who you calling baby. You might want to get that together. Okay, Lauren saying D. Okay, Felicia, I think we already had you at C. Okay, Frank, we're saying D. All right. Okay. Andre, not too sure. Thank you for your honesty. Appreciate that. Okay. One of my tops. I don't know, a whole bunch of symbolism saying D. Okay. Okay, so you're saying D. All right. You're saying C. All right. Okay. No, you don't know. That's all right. No clue. All right. So sometimes I come on, lately it's been various times because of tutoring. All right, so let's take a look. First off, we got Karen. I know, we're just going to work with it, people. So we're saying that Karen, I'm going to use a K, is 9 years older than her sister Michelle. So if we got Michelle, Karen's 9 years older. Michelle, who I'm going to use for M, is 4 years younger than her brother, David. So let's say, all right, we got David's age minus 4. But here's my thing. How old is David? What can I use to represent David? Because if we're going to solve this in terms of Michelle, how old is David? Okay, Braids and M saying M plus 4, M plus 4. Okay, now the 82, that's the sum of all their ages. Lauren saying M plus 4. Okay, so if Michelle is 4 years younger than David, that means David is 4 years older than Michelle? Because we want to put this in terms of Michelle because that's who we're trying to find. So they're saying the sum of their ages is 82. So let's put it down. We got Karen, who is 9 years older than Michelle. We got Michelle, who is going to be herself. We're not going to say Michelle is D minus 4 because we want to keep everything in terms of Michelle. And then we have David, who is 4 years older than Michelle. And the sum of all their ages is 82. Okay. So we really want to figure out who is M, who is Michelle. How old is she? So now let's count how many M's we have. We got 1, 2, 3 M's. So that will be 3M. Then we're going to add 9 plus 4. That gives me my 13. And it's going to equal 82. So now we're going to solve it like an equation. Okay, we want to solve for M. So now let's subtract that 13. And I'm going to just write it on my paper here. The reason why we're subtracting the 13 because we want to get M by itself. So 13 minus 13, that gives me 0. We don't need that placeholder because we still got this 3M. And now we got 82 minus 13, everybody's favorite number. So now we want to get M by itself. So we have to divide by 3. So 3 divided by 3 will give me 1 or 1M. And then you have your 69 divided by 3, which gives us 23. And 23 is our option D. I know there's another way of solving it, but we'll just try to keep it clean. Okay. 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 All right, no problem. Okay, get it clear? All right. Let's see, because I know I probably missed a few. Okay. Oh yeah, it's always had a math section. Unless, well, as long as I know. Okay, hello Jason. Just working on some random ASVAB math sections. Just trying to break all these concepts down. All right, so let's take a look at this one. So John is driving to visit his mom who lives 300 miles away. How long will the drive be round trip if John drives on average speed of 50 miles per hour? Is it A, 95 minutes, B, 260 minutes, C, 645 minutes, D, 720 minutes? Am I going to do polynomials? Not tonight. Well, thank you, Josie. Probably in the next few weeks. Hello, Lisa. So M was representing Michelle. That's where the N, just a single M came from. And since they wanted to know how old Michelle is, they didn't really care about David. So that's why we just used the letter M for Michelle. Okay. All right, so I'm seeing some D's. I see a 720. Hang on that. We're seeing, we have a B, we have a D. I know right now it's 11:17. I normally do this earlier, but I had some tutoring clients, and I hate to say they take precedence because they help me pay for my basic needs. So I know I definitely wanted to come on here at least once. So sometimes I'm usually here at 6:30, but I'm usually live every night. Okay. Yeah, I know. Y2M? What do you mean Y2M? Yeah. So I know. And sometimes I'll just come on here. Sometimes I'll do something for college algebra, just a little bit. Sometimes I'll just focus on one concept. And I'm starting to see that adding, subtracting, and multiplying decimals needs to be addressed. I'm starting to see that a lot in my sessions. Okay, so let's take a look. One thing that I think a lot of you guys are missing is that we're dealing with a round trip. Okay, so since we're dealing with round trip, we're not just dealing with 300 miles. That's just one way. So round trip, we're looking at 600 miles, right? And his average speed is going to be 50 miles per hour. So if we got our miles and we divide it by 50, and here's another little tip. Since you have 600 divided by 50, instead of dealing with the 600, and especially, when you have to do the GED or the ASVAB, the AccuPlace, or any of those, you're going to have to do it by hand. You can't use a calculator. So let's make our numbers a little bit smaller. You're going to get the same result. So now you got 60 divided by 5. Now 60 divided by 5, that gives me 12. But that gives me 12 hours. And you're probably looking, well, Audrey, I don't see no 12s anywhere around here. And that's the reason why you got to exchange those hours into minutes. So how many minutes are in an hour? I know, I'm insulting your intelligence. I'm sorry. But here we go. So how many minutes are in an hour? I just need one person to answer that. Thank you. 60. So we need to exchange this from hours to minutes. Okay? So when I multiply that 12 by 60, okay, got my 0. Then 6 times 2, that's 12. Carry the 1. 6 times 1, that's 6, plus 1, that's 7. So it's going to be 720 minutes. Okay, makes sense now? So a lot of you guys were kind of giving me roughly, one, it was either one way instead of round trip. And then the other thing, we had to convert it into minutes. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the follows. Let's get it going. Let's do one more, and then we're going to do it like, sounds like a little mad tap. All right, so we have Julie gives 8 pieces of candy to each of her friends. If Julie gives all her candy away, which amount of candy could have been the amount she distributed? Okay. Okay. You remember this question? Okay, I'm seeing some great answers. So Silly Duck is saying B. Zappa Don saying B. my symbols. I don't know. Saying B, Lauren B. Is that Nazir? Saying B. Is that Kino? Saying B, Sean, 27 friends. We're not looking for the friends. We're looking for pieces of candy. Abby saying B. B only even answer. Ooh, Frank. Okay. Dr. Solo saying B can only be an even number. There you go, Abby. All right. So let's take a look. There was 8 pieces of candy. Okay. That she gives 8 pieces to each of her friends. So that means every time there's like 8. So we want to know, and some of you guys have mentioned, which will be divisible by 8. Now, if you think about it, as you guys have pointed out, that this is ending in 3, this is ending in 3, ending in 7, ending in 6. They're odd numbers. Last time I checked, you have your 8, you have your 16, 24, 32, 40, and of course there's a few more. Notice these numbers. They're all in the one spot ending with an even number. So if it has to be divisible by 8, it needs to be divisible by an even number. So process of elimination. Boom, boom, boom. That's your answer. Okay. Yep. All right. Okay. So sometimes, especially when you're doing these type of tests, ASVAB, GED, AccuPlacer, even SAT, ACT, you're not answering it like you are in a regular classroom. You have to do POE, P-O-E, process of elimination, okay? Because especially when you're doing time tests, I know for a fact when you see that test, you're like, and then you're freaking out because you're watching the time go down, but while you staring at the time is not helping you with the test, okay? So if you can narrow things down, get a little bit of knowledge, you're not going to be able to memorize every formula, okay? Not possible, guys, not possible. Unless you're giving yourself a whole entire year, yeah. But a lot of you guys are trying to give yourself like at least 2 weeks, and then you're like, oh yeah, I can take the test in 2 weeks because I studied for 3 days. For like 3 hours, 3 days. That's not enough. You're trying to learn a whole year of Algebra 1 with some pieces of geometry, data analysis, and a little bit of Algebra 2. There's a lot of stuff in there. Okay? All right. So I'm seeing a lot of A's. Hey, Willie, welcome back. Okay. Good minute since you've done these type of math, right? I know. Since you were a fetus, you haven't seen this, right? The biggest ma. All right. Saying A. Mary A. Okay. My symbols A. Explain 4 number, please. Explain number 4 for you. Yeah, I'll do that in a second. I will do that for you. So we got our A's. Felicia A. Miss Beauty. Hello. A. Dr. Solo. Okay. You got that? Because you multiply length times width, and 3 times 5 gives you 13. There you go. There it is. So, understanding, we got a rectangle. Knowing what their shape is, we're looking for area. The area of a rectangle, as mentioned before, is like length times width. Some people like to say base times height. It doesn't blessed matter. It's the same thing. All you're doing is taking these 2 numbers and you're multiplying them, okay? So that means, let me raise this up a little bit. So you have your 30 times your 45, okay? 5 and 0, that gives me 0. 3 and 5 gives me 15. 4 and 0, that gives me 0. I know a lot of you guys love to put that 0 there. And then 4 and 3 gives me 12. All right. Everything's already lined up. So I have my zeros. I have my 5s. Then I have my 3. Oops, and then it's my 1. Okay, so answer will just be A. Okay, good. Now, going back to 4, here's my thing. There's 8 pieces of candy. The only number that is divisible by 8 can actually be divided by 8 evenly, okay? Because we're saying she gave all her candy away, so she doesn't have anything left over. If you try to divide 187 by 8, you're going to have a remainder. If you're going to divide 343 by 8, you're going to have a remainder. If you try to do 223 by 8, you're going to have a remainder. She doesn't have any candy left. So it cannot be something that's an odd number. If you notice the 8 times table just going up to 40, all of them are even numbers. Okay, so the only answer in this case has to be 216 because it's the only even number that's listed of those 4 options. Okay, the only one that if I divide by 8, I'm not going to have anything left over. Okay, all right. All right, so let's work on the taps. There's 325 of us here. Okay, if you want me to continue on, let's see if we can get this up to 15K. I know we can do it. It's just going to be a straight mad tap. All right, because the more people we have coming in, the more that we'll get into the FYP. And while we're tapping, I will kind of give you a generalization on what I've been seeing in my tutoring sessions when it comes to the ASVAB and also when it comes to the GED, because I've been seeing a lot of people from ASVAB and GED. So with the ASVAB, we know it's a progression, okay? So as you guys are basically, as you're improving, you're getting yourselves up and up in the level. Now, the minimum score, especially for Army, is like 31. Now, 31 is basically adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing decimals, fractions, percent, knowing your distance formula, meaning like your distance times your rate times your time, knowing those things, simple interest, those are going to be the main components. That will get you around basically around the 30, 32. When you start seeing one step, two step, especially two step and multi-step equations, you're basically getting into like the late 30s, early 40s. When you start seeing the equation of the lines, slope, intercept form, what's it called? System of equation. Now we're looking into the 50s, okay? We're going to the 50s. When you start seeing factoring, you're going into the late 50s, early 60s. When you start seeing volume, you're basically in the 60s, okay? When they start breaking down like cubic and maybe some other higher indexes, yeah, you're up there, okay? So it's a progression. All right, it's definitely a progression. Now, do you need to know your multiplication tables? Yes. Do you need to know? Go ahead, let's keep going to like 20. So I'm going to explain it anymore. Do you need to know how to break down, how to simplify? Yes. Do you need to know how to read English? Yes, especially for the arithmetic. I keep calling it arithmetic. Especially for the arithmetic reasoning section. There's 2 sections. One is the arithmetic reasoning. So it's a lot of the word problems, just like the example problem that we had about Michelle and her sister. This one, they always have problems like this. They also have problems, a few problems like this. These are basically the arithmetic reasoning section. The word problems, how to pull information out and to break it on down. Okay. So yes, this is for like military, but here's the thing. A lot of these questions that you see here, you will also see in the TEAS test. You will also see in the HES test. You will also see in the GED. Okay. A lot of the math is flowing throughout it. Okay. And especially the geometry piece. All right, Well, thank you. So here we go, as promised. All right, so you are asked to chart the temperature during an 8-hour period to give the average. These are your results, okay? So at 7 a.m. it's 2 degrees, 8 a.m. 5 degrees, 9 a.m. 22, 10 a.m. 28. Okay, you see the whole thing. Everything has a time and everything has a degree. They're asking, what is the average temperature? Is it A, 36, B, 28, C, 24, or D, 22? November, I'm not going over number one. No. If anything, you're just going to have to visit my YT to see the replay. Okay, going back one problem, I can see. Going back 4, nah. Okay, all right, so Jonas we got is 24. Okay, Madeline saying C. Demia saying C. Would you just find the mean? Are you finding the mean? Grand Salt, are you finding the mean? Kevin's got 24. Okay. I just want to make sure I say people's names right. There's power in the names. Marvin, love that. Saying C. Frank saying C. Is that Zarner? Saying C. Frank, 192 divided by 8. Okay, Gail, add them all and divide by 8. Chris is saying C. Leslie's C. Okay. All right. So, keyword. Remember I said earlier we got to worry about reading? We need to know what the word average means. Anytime we see the word average, we are looking for your mean. Now, the mean, are you saying, oh, we're supposed to put them in order and count in the middle? No. That's median. When you put all your numbers in order and then you count towards the middle, that's finding the median, the middle of your data. When you're finding the average, you're finding the average temperature. So we're not looking at the times. We can care less about the times, okay? So all we're basically doing is adding your 2, your 5, your 22, your 28. Okay? Some people like to split it up if you want to. Then you're also going to add your 32, your 35. 35 is there twice, so you put it down twice. And plus your 33. So I'm going to jump ahead because I saw this one earlier. This is going to give me a total of 192. Okay, when I add them all up, I'm going to get my 192. So now you're going to divide by how many numbers we added up. Okay, so that gives us a total of 8. There's 4 on one side, there's 4 on the other side. So we have our 8. So now we're going to go into division. So again, if I don't have a calculator or a calculator at all, we got to do old school. So I asked myself, how many groups of 8s can go into 19 without going over? So hopefully you're saying 2, because 2 times 8 gives me 16. 19 minus 16, that gives me 3. As soon as I see this 2 here, right away, option A is off the chart. Okay? Now, I got my 3. I'm bringing down my 2. So now I have to ask, how many groups of 8s can go into 32? Oh, 4. Answer is C. Click it, bubble it, move on. Don't worry about like, oh, okay, I got to bring my minus 32. We ain't got time. You ain't got time, okay? You have roughly like a minute. I keep switching this up. A minute 10, a minute 12 for geometry for GED, but it's like a minute 8, I think that's what he said, for ASVAB. Okay. So there's going to be some questions you're going to know just like that. And there's going to be some questions that you're going to have to like pause for a moment and think, okay? Just like that whole thing with Michelle and David and her whole family, right? So you're going to take that extra time that you basically got from answering a couple of questions that was really easy. You're going to take that extra time for those questions that are a little bit harder. Okay, so that's how you kind of approach it. All right. Thank you for a follow. Okay, this is definitely also seen in the AccuPlacer. I think that's the last straw. Yep, you will definitely see this in the AccuPlacer. All right, so let's take a look. Each year, a cyber cafe charges its customers a base rate of $15 with an additional 20 cents per visit for the first 40 visits and 10 cents for every visit after that. How much does the cyber cafe charge a customer for a year in which 60 visits are made? Is it A, $25, B, $29, C, $35, or D, $39? Okay. YK Anthony saying A, Kevin saying C, Bridge C, Coco A. Okay, Zappa C. Okay, we got some C's, we got some A's. It's like Zoran saying A. Cammy Cakes saying A. Willie A. Kevin, I got you. Are you switching to A, Kevin? Okay, Chris, we got A. Or Christina with A. It's like, okay, I'm having trouble seeing. I know. This is what we gotta do. Adversity. Gotta get through it. Okay, hold on. Ramona with an A. Tika Senior with an A. M with the hearts with an A. Thank you for the follow, Misha. Pablap. All right, let's take a look. So right off the bat, there is a couple things. There's a base rate of 15. They said that there is 20 cents per visit for the first 40 visits and 10 cents for each visit after that. So what they want to know is how much would it be for 60 visits? Well, just starting off, before they even buy anything, do anything, that's $15, just walking in the door. But 20 cents for the first 40 visits. So that means we have our 0.20. That's going to handle the 40 visits. Then they're saying 10 cents for each visit after that. All right. If we're trying to deal with 60 visits and we know 40 visits are already used, there we go, people. That means we have 20 visits that's dealing with this 10 cents. Okay. So now, if we can do the calculations for each of these, we'll just add them all up. Okay. So we need to know how much is going to be 20 cents for 40 visits. Okay. We got our 8. All right, so you have your $8. Good. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Rosette. Thank you, Kevin, again. Now, for our 20 cents, or 20 at 10 cents, that's going to be how much? That's going to be $2, right? All right, 20 dimes, people. $2, right? Thank you, M, Rosette, Kevin. All right. So now all you have to do is add them. Okay, since it's all addition, you got 15 plus 8 plus 2. That adds together to give me 25. Okay. All right. Questions so far? Okay. Because I know some people are like, I want to tap, but I want to write and I want to learn, and I can't tap and write at the same time. So that's why we're going to do a page together. Then we'll do a little mad tapping. Then we'll do a page again. Okay? So if a vehicle is driven 32 miles on Monday, 35 miles on Tuesday, and 29 miles on Wednesday, what is the average number of miles driven each day? Is it A, 32 miles, B, 31 miles, C, 29 miles, or D, 27 miles? Yes, definitely working your minds. Yes, for your eyes only. Good. All right, so Sean is saying A. Young is saying A. Leslie A. Coco A. Coco Ban. Bridge A. Okay, Willie A. Rosette A. Chris A. Sunflower, welcome in. That's A. Okay, November 1st, good. A. Okay, Frito A. Love that. Young Anthony B. Charm A. I have a feeling you're from Baltimore. Okay, Rosemary A. All right, so we got our A's. Now let's take a look. So all we're basically doing, again, they have the word average. Okay, what are they looking at? The average of the miles. Okay, the average number of miles. That's all they want. So it doesn't matter if Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. It's just giving us how many days we're looking at. So if you got your 32, your 35, and your 29, okay, add those bad boys up. And I'm going to see if I can sneak it right here. Add those up, that will give me my 96. So now, average, how many days are we looking at? We were looking at 3 days. So if we had our 96 divided by our 3, there is 3 groups of 3's that can go into 9, and there's 2 groups of 3's that can go into 6 evenly. So my answer is going to be A. Okay. Yep, so 96 divided by 3. Excellent job, guys. Yep. All right. So 3 co-workers contributed, okay, $10.25, $11.25, and $18.45, respectively, to purchase a retirement gift for their boss. What is the maximum amount they can spend on the gift? I'm very curious to see how people solve this. So I'm seeing a couple C's. I have M, I have Coco, I have Kevin. Okay. For your eyes only, say just add. Okay. It's like KD is saying C. Still Demac Annie. Good job saying C. Willie C. Rosette C. November C. BC C. Users 7514 C. I'm not doing all those numbers. I'm just not. Christina C. Leslie C. Rosemary C. Marvin C. Fredo C. Jenny, how are you? C. Yep, that's what we're going to do. Add them together. Young is saying C. Okay, Charm C. Okay, YK saying B. All right. Now, you can do one or two things. Okay, remember, if you're doing process elimination, you could possibly round. Now, I'm looking at this 10.25. I'm thinking $10. Okay, I know I'm shortening myself like 25 cents. Then for the 11.25, I'm just going to say 11. I know I'm short myself another 25 cents. So I short myself 50 cents so far. Then I have my 18.45. I'm going to kind of like put it at close to possibly 19. I really should be 18, just like 18.50. But even if I do that, just to get an idea of what I'm dealing with, okay? So if I just put the 18, I'm shorting myself 45 cents. Okay. If I come in, I can take a look kind of over here. I got my 5, I got my 5, I got my 5. That's 15. Okay. So this is going to be the change. Once I see the dollar amount at my 39 and I notice none of this is going to give me like over $1, it's actually going to give me my 95 cents. So once I see this 39, I can be like, all right, D is definitely out. That's way too low. Okay, we're in the 40s. That's 42. A is going to be out. So I could say, all right, let me see what the change is going to do. And once I realize the change is exactly 95 cents, C is my answer. Okay, so sometimes rounding can kind of help lessen the stress. Okay. Hey, Kaya, how are you? Okay. And the last one on this page. Okay, while at work, Emma checks her emails once every 90 minutes. In 9 hours, how many times does she check her email? Is it A, 4 times, B, 5 times, C, 7 times, or D, 6 times? She is clearly not a teacher. People sending emails every 2.2 seconds. Like, just say what you need to say. Say with your chest. And that's why I'm not in the classroom anymore. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, you did the cents first? Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm seeing a whole bunch of D's. Divide 60 and 9. I'm seeing D's. Sue, I'm seeing D's. Thanks for the follow. Kevin D's, Peggy D. Rosette D. Is that Liche? D. Willie D. Jenny D. Living my life. Girls, show me how. Is that Reed? D. November D. Christina D. Okay. I love that. Rosemary D. J. Not, what is that? 9 to 1.5? Okay. Yummy. I did 90 times 60 divided by 9. Could do it that way. Okay. I was like, I noticed the picture. Not like I'm stalking or anything. Just felt like, I love it. All right. So let's take a look. So if you notice, we're doing a comparison of 90 minutes to 9 hours. So if you want, again, you can do we can convert this into hours if you want to, because since they're doing that comparison of 9 hours, so 90 minutes is like 1.5 hours. So if you want 9.5, if I check for like 2, so that'll just be like, I don't know, 1 time. So then you have your 9 hours. You could do the division of 9 divided by 1.5. That was like the easiest way for me. But I could say, all right, if I wanted to, I could convert the 9 hours to minutes and do 9 times 60, which will give me 540. And then I can divide by 90. I can do it that way. Or I can divide with a decimal. The choice is going to be yours. So this is what I'm trying to say. We can convert the hours to minutes. If we do that, that's 9 times 60. And 9 times 60, that will give me my 540. All right. But since we want to say that it's being done every 90 minutes, I can divide this by 90. And since both of them are ending in zeros, get rid of the zeros, make your numbers smaller so it's less intimidating. Then you have 54 divided by 9, which gives me 6. So that means she's checking it 6 times. If you don't like that way, and you want to come back to that 1.5, you got your hours, which is 9, divided by 1.5. Now, if you're like, what does that look like? Well, that means we need to move this decimal place over 1 because you can never have a decimal in the divisor. And instead of a 9, we're dealing with 90. So we're saying, okay, how many 15s can go into 90? Well, exactly 6. Okay, so you have a choice. Either you want to change the hours into minutes and then divide by 90, or you want to change the minutes into hours and have 9 divided by itself, or that 1.5. Okay. Okay. So you have choices. You have choices. All right. If we can, we got 184 in the place. If we can get to 40, I can do the next page. And then we can possibly see what's going to happen because it's almost midnight here on the East Coast. You know what happens after midnight. No, just kidding. All kinds of craziness. I should not see any youngsters up in this place. I'm still in middle school. I'm still in elementary school. Take your butt to bed. All right. All right, Lisa. Have a good one. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you guys, but yeah. All right. We can do it. Let's get ourselves a math tap, and then I can get to the next page. So while you guys are tapping, let me talk about the GED. Ready? All right. So the GED, you have a series of questions. And what happens is you have a variety of questions. It's not like the ASVAB where you have that progression based off of your answers. They'll progress for you. Whereas the GED, they'll give you questions similar to this, a nice little mixture. So they'll give you some word problems. They'll also give you what I like to call naked math. And you just basically have to answer questions just like multiple choice. But like I said, there is a series of types of questions. There's a 1-point question, 2-point question, 3-point questions, and 4-point questions. The 1-point questions is like basic math, like adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, like whole numbers, maybe some fractions, some decimals, nothing in a word problem like we just had, but just straight, that's what you do. Then you have your solving equations. Those are like your 2-point questions, especially if it's a one-step equation. Okay, 2 steps, that's generally like 3-point questions, but multi-step, that could be a 4-point question depending on the situation. Now, the only way that you cannot pass the GED is if you skip any of the questions dealing with, hopefully you're listening to this, anything dealing with slope, the equation of the line, system of equations, volume, and factoring. Usually those are like the advanced, not really advanced, but those are usually past first semester of Algebra 1. If you skip those, you're not going to pass the GED. Okay, so you have to get yourself familiar with slope, aka rate of change. You also have to get familiar with how to graph an equation line, as well as graphing an inequality. And we've talked about that on this platform. And also looking at volume, how to find volume. If you know area and circumference or perimeter, those can be 2, sometimes 3-point questions, depending on the situation. But it is like you want to get at least a few of those 4-point questions and do a good, solid, strong results with the basic 1 questions, you'll pass the GED. Okay? That's basically what you're doing. Okay? All right. So, looking at all this, thank you so much for the roses, guys. Thank you for joining up, following me. I love that. Because these are the things, I want this not to be the reason why the world doesn't get to see your greatness. Like, seriously, how many of you guys wanted to, and I'm currently tutoring a young lady who always wanted to be in the military. And she's right there on the cusp where it comes like the age. So she's right there. So she wants to do this before she ages out. It's something that she always wanted to do, but right now the thing that's holding her back is math. So guess what? That's my job. Let me help you break that down. Let's see what you can do. And she's like, all I want is a 31. I'm like, all right, you're going to get more than that, but sure, let's go. And she's like, how are you so confident? I'm like, because I know, I've been there. I used to suck at math. Now look at me, I'm a math teacher. Jesus, don't ask me how it happened. Because I have no clue, right? But if you have faith in yourself, you can do this. Okay? I just want you to know that you have confidence in you. So let's go. So 1, thank you for the taps. Greatly appreciate it. So here we go. A family owns 15 dozen of magazines. After donating 52 magazines to the public library, how many magazines are still with the family? Let me read it again. A family owns 15 dozens of magazines. After donating 57 magazines to the public library, how many magazines are still with the family? Is it A, 180, B, 152, C, 123, or D, 98? So I'm seeing a series of C's. Look at all these C's. Right? Love it, love it, love it. Oh, welcome in, Cindy. Appreciate it. Sorry. Okay, here we go. This is a right? Shit ton's not an answer. We got a lot of magazines. All right, so let's take a look. First thing, and they do this with all exams. Have you noticed? We're used to skimming. And usually when people skim, they'll just say, all right, here's 15, there's 57. Okay, let me just subtract those 2, and I would get, 42. Well, wait, 42 is not one of my answers. This is what happens. We have 15 dozen. Okay? 1, here we go. Especially if you're not a strong English language learner, you're probably like, okay, what's a dozen? Okay, we got that 12. So now that we have that 15 times 12, okay, we need to get that before we can do anything. So let me just kind of put it over here. So if you have your 15 times 12, 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1, that's 2 plus 1 is 30, 1 and 5 is 5, 1 and 1 is 1. So we have 180. Notice that 180 was right as one of our answer choices, but we're not done. We need to know how many magazines are still with the family. So we're going to take that 180. We're going to take the 57 that they donated and subtract it. Okay? So when we borrow from the 8, we're making that a 7. Make that 0 a 10. 10 minus 7, that gives me 3. 7 minus 5, that gives me 2. And we bring my 1. 3, 2, 1. Go. Okay, the answer is going to be C at 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. So yes, that happens a lot. When you do part of the problem and you think you're done because, oh, it's right there. No, don't let the panic set in. Always take a look and go back to the original question. Make sure you're answering that question. All right. So, next one. All right. So, in a deck of cards. Now, one, I have to say, people that are not into gambling, they're going to have these problems in there. Okay, regardless, ASVAB, AccuPlacer, Tease, Hess, doesn't matter. Hesse, I keep forgetting putting it all together. Okay, I already said AccuPlacer. GED, SAT, ACT, any of those from X to Z, all that. So if you're not familiar with cards, if you're not familiar with spinners, get yourself familiar. And I'm sorry because it may go against your religious belief, but those questions are going to be in there. All right. Just want to make that as a disclaimer. Now, there are 4 spades, 3 hearts, 7 clubs, 10 diamonds. What is the probability that William will pick out a spade? So probability, the easiest way to remember that is part over the whole. Part is what you're looking for. What we're looking for is how he's going to pick out a spade. How many spades are there? There's 4. But how many cards are we dealing with? So we're dealing with 4 spades, 3 hearts, 4 and 3, that's 7. 7 clubs, that's 14. Plus the 10 diamonds, that's 24. Okay. So we're looking at 4 spades out of these total cards. Don't worry about a deck of cards of the 52. They're just talking about these cards right here. Now I need to reduce that. 4 and 24, they're both even. So I could divide both of them by 2, but 4 will be so much better. Because if I look at the 4 times table and I look inside, 24 is also inside the 4 times table. So if I divide by 4, that gives me 1/6. That's how they're getting A. Okay, that's how they're getting the A. So sometimes if you see 4 24s, if you see 2 even numbers, that means they can be reduced by 2 or 4, an even number. If they're both odd numbers, see if they're divisible by 3, then you divide both the numerator and the denominator by 3. Okay? All right. Okay, so probability is part over the whole. All right, now this gets a lot of people because everyone forgets what prime means. So it's saying, what is the prime factorization of 560? So if we were to break them all down, they all have to be prime numbers. Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, no problem, Christina. Thank you so much for coming in. Looking forward to it. I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so Friday is not as cray-cray. So I get to breathe. Especially in the evenings. So I'll be here like around 6. Prime. Thank you for asking. What is a prime number? A prime number, when through multiplication, is factors is 1 in itself. What is the first prime number? Let me see if I have my old G's up in here. What is the first prime number? Put it in the chat. Kevin, I see your B. What's the first prime number? Kyle saying 2. Kevin saying 1. Jenny saying 2. My black spot saying 1. Rosette saying 2. Okay, we've got some B's. We got some 1s. We got some 2s. We got some 2s. We got some 1s. All right, so here I'm going to break it down to you. The first prime number is 2. Yes. Okay, think about it. If I were to break down 2s, if I wanted to break down 2, I could only do it like 1 times 2. That's it. If I wanted to break down 3, that means I have 1 times 3. That's it. Those are the only 2 factors. If I multiply, it can give me 3. If I want to break down 4, I got 1 times 4, but I also have 2 times 2. 4 is not a prime number. Okay, 4 is what's called a composite number. So I have more than 1 factors, or more than 1 set of factors to give me 4 through multiplication. Okay, so 1 is constantly being used. Okay, 1 is constantly being used. So 1 is not a prime number. Okay, the first prime number is 2. Please keep that in mind. All right, so process elimination. Right away, I can get rid of C because that's 2 times 7. That's 14. We're looking for 560. All right. If I want, I can multiply 2 times 2. That gives me 4. 4 times 5. That gives me 20. And 20 times 7. That gives me 140. That's why A is not in the running. Okay. Got it. Good. So now, if we take a look, we have 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 gives me 4. So right here, just getting all the 2's, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Okay? Since this is all multiplication, and multiplication is what's called commutative, that means if I rearrange all these digits, I'm going to still get the same value. So I could, if I wanted to, multiply 5 and 7 to get 35. And then if I wanted to multiply 16 times 35, 6 times 5 gives me 30. There's my 0. Okay, carry my 3. 5 times 1, that gives me 3. Let me write it up on here. Okay, 5 times 1 gives me 5, plus 3 gives me 8. Sorry. 3 and 6 is 18. Carry my 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. And once I know 8 and 8 gives me 16, boom, I'm like, yeah, B is my answer. Don't even have to finish the whole thing. If you want to finish it, there you go. You don't get extra points. You don't get a sticker. You don't get, I don't know, a brand new car. All right. All they care about when you take these type of tests, I'm not talking about classroom exams. They want to see your work. Okay. If you're currently in the classroom and you have a teacher of record that's going to be grading you, maybe you're a high school kid that's just doom scrolling. Here's the thing. You have to show your work. Plus, you can possibly get partial credit when you show your work. But these standardized tests, you don't get anything. They just care, did you pick A, B, C, D, sometimes E? All right? Nope, no sticker. No sticker, no pizza party, none of that. All right. So let's slide this over, raise this up a bit. All right, William is driving a truck that can hold 5 tons maximum. He has a shipment of food weighing 32,000 pounds. How many trips will he need to deliver all the food? Okay. Okay. All right. I appreciate you. We're just going to finish this page and then we're going to be done because I'm surprised I have any brain cells left. Okay. Thank you. All right. What's the question that everybody should have in their heads? Okay. Hey, Peaches. Oh, thank you. Original. Cindy. Salina. How many pounds? Exactly, Softener. Exactly. So, how many pounds are in a ton? If you know it, put it up in the chat. Like 1 ton equals how many pounds? There you go, Cindy. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Okay. All right. So 2,000. So 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. Okay. The maximum he can hold in his truck is 5 tons. Okay. How much pounds is that? How much is that in pounds? Okay, you're smart too, Hernandez. Come on. You got it. Okay. So if his truck can hold, there you go, Cindy. There we go, Kevin. Sharpa, how are you? That's it. There you go, November. Double D. There we go. Shimar. The B, user, okay? All we're doing, if 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, that means 5 tons, 5 times 2,000, this is dealing with 10,000 pounds. Okay, keep that in mind. Because notice, he has a shipment. He can hold 5 tons, but the shipment weighs 32,000 pounds. Okay. So we want to know how many trips does William have to take in order to deliver all the food. Don't leave anything back. I'll be like, yeah, that's all I'm taking. That's it. Okay. Even though it may or may not be a full trip, but how many actual trips is he going to have to make? So I'm seeing a whole lot of C's. I'm seeing the 4s because 1 trip, that's 10,000 pounds. Another trip, that's 10,000 pounds. Another trip, that's 10,000 pounds. Okay? So, last time I checked, 10 plus 10 plus 10, that gives me 30. Right? And he has 2,000 pounds left over. So, he still's got to take that other trip because he's got to deliver all of that. So, he's taking 4 trips. That's it, Jay. Okay. So 3 trips will only cover the 30,000 pounds, but we still got 2,000 pounds left over. So that's why we got to complete 4 trips. Even though this trip may not be a full, but still, we have to make that trip to make sure that delivery is already made. Okay? Job, Jay. Job, everyone. Okay? You guys are holding on pretty well. All right, I think we have, 2 more? 2 more! We can do it. Can we do it? Yes, we can. All right, a man goes to a casino with $180. That's a lie. A man goes to the casino with $20. He loses $40 on blackjack. You know that's a lie. Then loses another $50 on the roulette. How much money does he have left? Is it A, 75? Is it B, 90? Is it C, 105? If you say C or D, y'all trying to get arrested. What kind of thievery are y'all doing? Okay, so I see a whole sea of B's, 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 and B's. Good job. See, we got some honest people in this world. All right. First off, you got 40, you got 50, that makes 90. That's 180 minus the 90. We'll give you your $90. Nice one. All right, last one for the evening. All right, a woman owns a dog walking business. You could say, it's time for me to go back. All right, if 3 workers can walk 9 dogs, how many dogs can 5 walkers walk? Is it A, 13, B, 14, C, 15, or D, 19? Okay, so Bobby's saying C, Sharper saying C, Cindy C. Is it Shayla? Oh, is that Shayla? C, JC, Jen C, Blank C, Kevin C, Madeline C, Leslie C, Sharper, I saw you C, Jay, I saw you C. Baby, how have you been? C, November saying C, Rosette saying C, Marvin is also saying C. Okay. You don't know? It's all right, Jasmine. I'm going to break it on down. You're going to be like, oh, good. Okay, Susie's saying C. All right, Shamar saying C. All right, Justice is saying C. All right. And we're also given a 5. A 5? All right, let's take a look. Anytime they're doing any kind of comparison. So for all my people that want to be a nurse, anyone taking the TEAS test, as well as the HES test, this is also a similar question that you will see. Maybe not dog walking, but it will be like nurses. For ASVAB, sometimes they just use dogs because we have dogs in the military. You're doing a comparison. You have your 3 workers over your 9 dogs. So 3 workers can walk 9 dogs. You're going to set it up as what's called a proportion. So you're doing a comparison. 3 workers for 9 dogs, and they want to know how many dogs for 5 workers. That's our unknown. So if you want, you could do what's called cross multiplying. So you got 3 times x, that gives me 3x. And 9 times 5 gives me 45. Then divide by 3. Remember, there's more than one way of getting the same answer. Okay. So that's one way. You know, some people will say, well, wouldn't I just figure out what the pattern is? Okay, from 3 to 9 is multiplying by 3. So for me to go from 3 to 9, that's times 3. So why don't I just times 3 to the 5 to get the 15? You can do that as well. Okay. All right. So you can figure out what the pattern is, and you'll notice, oh, well, 3/9 is 3 times 3 gives me 9. Whatever I multiply on this side, I have to do on this side. So that means 5 times 3 will give me my 15. So 5 walkers can do 15 dogs. Yep, Kevin, and 1 worker can do 3. There you go. But it's always that one little itty bitty sweet little dog, little teacup something. That'll be the straight terror of all of them. Okay? Ready for tomorrow night? Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And parents like, oh, he's just, getting used to you. No, that is a killer. Oh, my word. All right. So, not a problem. I'm hoping you guys were able to grab a little bit of something. Being able to break some of these things down. Yep, I do tutor nurse. Well, here's the thing. Nurses, I love you, but your schedule is so unexpected. So this is what I do. Now, I'm not even sure. I haven't even told you any of this stuff yet. So let me move this out of the way. So if you need, now let me zoom in just a hair. Okay. Again, if you want any of the replays, you came a little bit late, this is where you can go. All right. Go ahead and hit a screenshot. I'm going to take it down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I just need for you to do those 5 things. Anything, you'll see a playlist that says TikTok Lives. Okay, all of my lives since February the 2nd is up there. Okay, so if you need anything, especially if it's algebra based, go ahead and just do a search in there. All right, so that's one thing. The other thing, not a problem. If you do want private tutoring, or if you know there's a group of you guys and you all are struggling, hey, let's do something at a group rate. But I also have courses. So for those that are taking the T's or the HESI and you're really struggling with the algebra foundations, I do have a course here. It's like $197 right now. So you can do GED, you can do ASVAB, AccuPlacer, T's. Maybe you're a homeschool parent that just needs some more oomph, more emphasis. It's 107 videos. You also have practice sheets and quizzes. So again, it's like self-paced. So if you want to do like 2 or 3 units in a day, knock yourself out. If you just want to like do some stuff as a refresher, you can do that. You can pause it. You can rewind it. You know how the videos work. So that's what you basically do. So you can go there if you want to figure out more information about that. If you want my actual notes, because usually I put my notes inside of a math notebook, but if you want my actual notes of all my lives, there are a total of right now 5 books of this. So what I do is here's a copy of all of my live stuff. So if you notice down here at the bottom, there is usually a QR code. If you scan this code, it will take you directly to the live. And then you can like just follow along. Some people like to use it for mediation. Something is on both sides. Some people like to use it for mediation. So a couple homeschool parents purchased it for their kids. Some teachers purchased it for some of their students so they can just refresh and follow along. So it kind of gives them that guidance. So again, this is Audrey's notes. So you have that. I do have those for sale. If you go here, okay, so you can purchase yours, or you can purchase them on the A. Okay, I'm going to take this down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. But usually I do all my notes inside of my math notebook. I actually designed this. So what we do is we have a space for you to do your process. There's a space for your formula, and there's a space for you to write down your steps. So it's like when you just need to organize it. You know, sometimes a lot of teachers nowadays will give your children packets. And not to say it's easy to do, but at the same time, everybody has the same notes. Everybody has the same organization. But if there's a couple pages that you or your child want to tape in on one side, you could tape it here and then have them summarize what's on that sheet over here. I have a mood tracker to keep track of like, hey, how you guys feeling today? Was it a good day? Was it a bad day? And this can save some lives. That's the reason why I put it in there. Because sometimes people don't ask kids, how you feeling? We make a general statement to the whole entire classroom, but now all they have to do is circle it. Circle how you're feeling. How you feeling during the lesson? How you feeling at the end of the lesson? Okay, so that's why I put those there. Now, in addition to all these lovely pages, it's like 100 pages, and it's usually blank like this, dots on one side and a nice grid on the other side. It's really designed for math students. But in addition to this, we have a resource page in the very back. So if you struggle with your multiplication tables, if you're struggling to find the GCF or the LCM, the least common multiple, I have what's called a factor sheet from 1 to 200. Then you also get other resources and sayings and formulas that people generally keep forgetting. Here's your decimal operation. Here's your fraction operation. So it's just kind of a great place to reminder. This book right here is designed for Algebra and Algebra 1. Okay, so this is for the Algebra and Algebra 1. Then lastly, we're close to lastly, we have one for Algebra 2 and pre-calculus. So same concepts, just got this the other day. Same concepts, a lot of similarities when it comes to resource pages, but there are some differences like this when we talk about complex numbers. And then we have the conversion chart, very similar to the other one. Rules of integers, order of operations. But now we have the arithmetic and geometric sequence. We talk a little bit about the inequalities, but then we start getting deeper into our understanding. We start talking about logs and exponentials. Okay, a little bit more with the system of equations, more so as a review. Okay, we have acceleration, okay, velocity, time. Then we have our conic section, our unit circle. You will be using this a lot, especially if you're like Algebra 2 second semester. Oh, yeah. Okay. There is no escaping that. And then you have your trig identities, a little bit with the Pythagorean theorem, a little bit with the trig. Then we're also focusing a little bit more with the sine and cosine, even looking at the different types of waves, how are the equations are basically looking at the different shifts. And last but not least, you have your Pascal's triangle. Okay, so to kind of help you break down those polynomials when it's of larger suit. All right. What other subjects do I tutor? Just math. You will surely fail if I do that. Nursing students during nursing schools, LPN. If it's algebra, I can tutor you. Okay, I'll put it that way. Are you late to live? Yes. We are just wrapping up. So if it has algebra in it, I can help. I can break it down for you. If it's pre-calculus, I can break it down to you. Calculus, not my jam. Statistics, definitely not my jam. I love you. No. Just no. And I probably could, but I feel that I have to refresh myself a lot with certain steps. And that is just going to be major aggravation for you and for me. And I don't want that to happen. I want our relationship to be broken up over math. That's kind of cray-cray because that's how we got together. But when it comes through, oh, and I almost forgot. Shame on me. Okay, anyone that's a lefty, I have notebooks for you. Okay, I know there's not that many left-handed notebooks out there. Okay, so I got you covered. And it's actually dedicated, one is dedicated to my mom. This one's for like Algebra 1. And then the other one is for Algebra 2 pre-calculus. So my dad is dedicated. I dedicate this one to my dad and the other one for my mom. They're the two lefties in my life. And I'm majority righty. See, two lefts make a right. Okay, a lot of it you weren't exposed to, and I believe it. Okay, linear algebra, not yet. I gotta be one at a time. One at a time. Yeah, so when it comes down to breaking down concepts, the best way that I can say is it all depends on your exposure. You know, some of us, including myself, I did not have a really good positive exposure to math. Once we got out of counting, you know, bumblebees and flowers, all of a sudden there was this thing called algebra and there's numbers and letters, and there wasn't anyone there to kind of help ease me into it. It was always, well, you should know this. And it's always, man, this is easy. Are you stupid? So it's like when you have other people that are supposed to be helping you saying these words to you at a young age, right away, you're going to put your defenses up and you're going to be like, you know what? I hate math. I suck at math. No, it's not math. It's how it was presented to you. So little bit by little, I would love for you guys to come in. I hope I would motivate those that, you know, you had to leave school for various situations. Hey, we all have our own. You know, you probably grew up in a household, you were the oldest, and then your mom needed help or your grandma needed help. So you had to stop going to school. And now you're thinking, I want to go back to school, which is awesome. Let's make that dream into a reality. Life is too short. Just do it. Okay? Is it going to be easy? No. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. There's going to be times you're going to want to rip your hair out, regardless if it's yours attached to your head or if it's an extension. It doesn't matter. Either way, it's expensive. and the most part, now you have someone that's willing to break it down. So if you ever need me as a tutor, if you're taking college algebra right now and you need a tutor, don't hesitate, you know. All right, Rosette, please. Thank you. Any of your math notebooks help? For 8th grade, I mean, to keep up with like most of the resources, I think the one that the pink and yellow is going to be quite helpful. You know, because a lot of these concepts, especially order of operation, this is what we do here in the States, and this is what a lot of international Canadians do this as well. So it's kind of like, it's one of those places where you can get the reminders, but also to have this part here so they can organize their thoughts. You know, there's nothing wrong with them organize their thoughts. They just have to want to have the notebook to do the work. Yep. So you can give it a try out. I know, right? Okay, so where to get them? You can either go here, and I'll leave this up here for you, or you can get it from the Big A. Now, if you order, because I don't have a sale anymore, so but if I order it here, it takes roughly like a week for you to get it, but it's at a cheaper rate than the A, you know, the brown box with the smile on it. You can order it there, and of course you can overnight it, and it's perfectly fine. So all of my books are on this platform or the A. All right. Okay. Well, let me know. Okay. Let me know. Because right now it's like People are really starting to realize that, oh, wow, this class is going really fast. And my professor either has either a heavy accent, which I heard from one person. Another person says he or she goes really fast. And I just cannot understand them. So that's what I have to do. Okay. Looks very helpful. Yep. If that's what they feel like it is, take a look. It gives you a lot of reminders, especially this one when it comes to the perfect squares and the perfect square roots. And it also has the cubes and the cube roots. I added that one in this version. This is the second edition. So a lot of this stuff is like the basic bits. But at the same time, hey, if you need a math tutor, I don't charge per month. I charge per session. So if you ever just want to get into a session, you can get into a session. If you want to do the courses instead, you can do the courses instead as well. Okay? So all you have to do is basically just go do this. Okay? Awesome. All right, so don't wait until you're just, I know, right? Don't wait until you're like at the 11th hour and you're like, I don't need help. Like, come ask me early. Let's do one session. Okay, if that's all you can afford is just the one session, you do the one session. And then you'll be like, man, I learned. You're going to say this because this seems to be the constant thing. I learned a lot in 1 hour than I did in how many weeks, because I try to keep my lingo simplistic. I try to keep it, a little bit of math approved. I know most math teachers do not like me because I do not use too much of the math terminology, but why should I talk over your heads when you guys are learning it for the first time? Once you kind of get your footing, then I can really dabble into the whole math lingo. That's just how I feel. Do I teach all grades? I do not. 7th through adults. 7th grade through adults. Yeah, I can't. I can't do younger than that. I don't have kids because of that. I'm evil when it comes to I'm like, I don't want to say I'm evil because of children, but yeah, I don't have the patience when kids are like really small. Nah. That's why I don't have kids of my own. I love kids, but I love when they go home. I love them more when they go home. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. All right. Not a problem. Okay, everyone, have a good night. For me, it's a good morning. But I'm going to take my butt to bed because I got a nice bright and early Notion. I'm going to try to upload this so you guys can see the replays if you need to see it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm thinking about 6 o'clock. That's what I'm thinking about. I shouldn't have a tutoring client, but as I say this now, someone might pop up. But I'm pushing for 6 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon. All right. All right. You have class in the morning? Go ahead. Get some rest. No problem, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping in. I greatly appreciate you guys. And all the taps. My goodness, 68? Look at you. Making me all special and stuff. All right. Sleep well, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Keep being awesome. Love you.